I needed to re-watch the Suzuha interaction. Yeah.
Where she says she's a soldier?
Once it started picking up, I was like, okay, I really need to pay attention to this. First of all, Mr. Braun's like apron or mock, I need it. I love CRT. I love that. It's amazing. It's great.
Nay is Mr. Braun's daughter.
Yes.
Are we gonna meet Nay?
I don't know. It's a good question. Nay.
The little squirrel.
Don't call my daughter a squirrel. How could I be in love like that? Anyway, I'm not a kid. So, okay. So, like, when I was watching it, I was like, was the implication to try to say that Reiner and Suzuha, like, Suzuha is the... Like,
Reiner?
Or Mr. Braun.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. But that Braun and Suzuha had that connection, but obviously no. It's just talking about... I'm a grown-up and a soldier. Mm-hmm. Does that confirm time travel?
Maybe. Isn't Suzuha 17 or 18?
Yeah.
17, 18, 19, somewhere in there. So it could be the whole energy of, I'm not a kid anymore. Could be thought of as that or brushed off as that.
It's interesting how her face, like her like emotions change so much.
Serious.
Yeah, it's like the act is dropped almost for this second. I'm already a soldier.
But it also lends to the idea that this is a childlike thing to do, even if she is a soldier, to be like, no, but I am a grown-up and I'm a soldier.
Yeah, but it's just like, so like after that, she's like, and like takes a deep breath and is like, bye. And then like a serious face again after she turns away. I'm
still so suspicious of her. Like the eavesdropping,
the corn.
This little thing where
the corn's the biggest thing.
The corn.
Yeah.
The word soldier. Change up of like personality and emotions almost. Mm-hmm. Why did she choose to get a part-time job here?
I'm worried at the moment that she's bad guy. And that if...
The organization.
Yes. And if the whole, Kiyoma left an IBN 5100 conveniently in like this place, then another, like... Maybe the organization knows that at one point around here is when he starts like getting it, so we can put an agent there very close to him to see
that is
where.
Not suspicious because it's a young girl. He probably wouldn't be super suspicious of her. She can eavesdrop and hear, and like watch the coming and going.
If Kiyoma ends up doing something that the organization, whether it's CERN or whatever, doesn't want him to do, and the only way to stop that is to go back and change one thing to halt his progress, that one thing would be removing the IBN 5100 from the equation, right?
Which is so interesting because what would that do? It would actually create two lines where in one line he does still do the thing.
Yeah.
And then in the other line, they get the computer.
But not for 1 second do I find it plot convenient that Kiyoma now has in his possession an IBN 5100. Like, not at all. And one of the things to like reinforce it was something so small, but the whole laundry gag this episode between Kurisu and Kiyoma, there was no gag. Like, I thought my mind defaulted to, laundry bag in Kurisu's room, they're going to bump into each other at the laundromat. And because that's anime, that's TV, it's what I'm used to. Fuck that. They like outdid themselves with that little like bit by using it in a way to get Kurisu more interested for the journey of obtaining more knowledge about the IBN, you know? And that was her reasoning for walking with Kiyoma. And like, it wasn't just coincidence,
now
you know?
I know where the laundromat is.
Yeah, it was something that was hinted previously in the episode to us as the viewer that had nothing to do with Kiyoma, and then it was utilized later in the story. It was so good. I loved it.
It's they're really driving home the theme of like her curiosity.
But they're also saying, in my opinion, that like just easy coincidences and plot conveniences that's not what's happening here.
Yeah,
exactly.
Are there any coincidences if people can time travel?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Things could be planted. You don't even know. It's the organization. Like, no wonder he's on edge and suspicious because how could he even believe that his friends are truly his friends? They could be plants from the organization.
The organization just keeps growing, right?
Yeah.
Like CERN. Mm-hmm. It just keeps growing and expanding like Daru. and the universe. I love that line.
I love one of the things I enjoy most in terms of like dialogue writing, and this episode really had a lot of that, and it was super fun, was Kiyoma's the usage of words, of these very broad, very lofty, very vague words. He says things like vast conspiracy, and he uses these words that sound big but are very like have no actual like detail to them. And I love his language because it's like it sounds like whoa, you know, but then if you actually like, thought about it, you're like, what is this guy talking about?
But it's also shooting himself in the foot for if something comes up, the boy who cried wolf type beat, right?
When you brought that up in the episode, I loved that.
Regardless of how serious the situation is now, he has already used like the most severe terms possible.
And then who's gonna believe him? You know, that whole idea of like he's already been using for possible fun all of these crazy imaginative ideas of secret agents out to get him with an organization, time travel. He's already using all of these like conspiracies that once something really happens, like he saw someone get stabbed, what is the thing that everyone starts to think? Oh, it's just a part of his thing.
Yeah.
He talks like this, you know? But no, he saw someone stabbed on the ground and then he sees her alive again. That's a great a great thing to bring up.
I liked the line a lot that theories are nothing more than words, which makes every theory I've ever had feel inconsequential, but I loved it.
I mean, it is truth.
Yeah.
We sit here and we say words.
Another one of my favorite lines this episode, in the same vein of Daru is constantly expanding, was when Mayuri assumed that the PC was 5,100 yen because it's an IBM 5,100.
That was so cute.
I was like, I love it. It's great. Yeah, 10 years ago, somebody left it for him. My last like two things that I might want to talk about again, I guess, are Kurisu's dad, just to touch on it one more time. I like that they had a little bit, like, I'm seeing more and more of Kiyoma's like realness, you know, hit like the non-eccentric theatric when it gets to like it breaks that wall. And we saw it in this episode when like he had that flashback or kind of, you know, rethinking, a reminder of Kurisu's dad when Kurisu brought up Ruka and his dad. And I was like, interesting. And then a couple minutes later, while walking with the PC, Kurisu like was going to bring up his acknowledgement of that. Did I understand that correctly? You know, when they were walking home.
Who's going to bring up what?
It seemed like Kurisu was going to bring up the fact that Kiyoma was paying like attention to her and about the father. Like, look, see, like, it's like she's like looking at him and then it fades to the scene of him looking at her, acknowledging the father.
So like, it's interesting because you just had brought up the quote of like theories are just words.
Yeah.
And when you bring up Kiyoma having some moments of like realness in showing emotion on facial expressions and backing down, I guess.
Yeah.
You could think of Kiyoma's characterization, his theatrics, as words.
Yeah.
It's just words. But then we're starting to see more and more of like, once the words are gone, what's there?
Yeah.
These lofty, broad, big words, conspiracy, organization, time travel. Once those are like wiped away, who is he?
Yeah, that's a really good point.
How does he feel?
Is he somebody who wants to stop World War III from happening in 2015? That's what, 5 years down the line? That's not a long time.
Does he actually care when he notices that someone has some type of past trauma?
Yeah.
You know, is he curious? What's he thinking about there?
It's so interesting that Kurisu didn't see Kiyoma make that face. She was talking to Ruka at the time. So I'm like, what is that implying to the viewer here, right? You have a nice father. You think so? This is the same scene that they refer to.
What it shows is that there's a level of actual true observation skills and an understanding of humans.
Yeah, and then he makes a sound and Kurisu acknowledges it too. Okay, cool. That's so interesting.
That it's like underneath this very theatric, no backing up evidence to words exterior, that inside he actually has the mind of a scientist, possibly, where he's observing everything. He's truly understanding the people that are around him.
Yeah. I mean, if he inevitably is the person to think of the SG-EPK at JTK92, like that whole, like, whatever, then obviously, like, he has just not had the situation in front of him that prompted him to use like 100% of his like creativity and, you know, craziness.
Is there something, he brings up trauma in this episode, and we know that he has this exterior that is very big and theatric, and that we're seeing these little glimpses of like internal conversation and internal observation and feelings. Is there anything to say that maybe somewhat of these delusions, as Daru put it, was a front and an act in order to protect himself, or because of a past trauma?
Yeah, maybe. That's good line of thinking. What do you think happened? I know we like had talks about who Kurisu's father would be, but what do you think happened to Kurisu's father? Because I don't want to make the same mistake as my father, and it obviously seems like it pertains to time travel. So my like intuition is a lot of people, if in like, this is such a weird bridge, but in like UFO communities and research and skepticism, people are often like, oh no, they're making up this story and lying so that they can profit from it, you know, write books and everything. But if you actually look at like the people who do it,
what happens to them,
if you do look at like the people in their lives after they start talking about their experiences or their apparent experiences, a lot of times it fucking ruins their reputation,
their life,
ruins their lives,
their relationships.
So if
they're like divorced, their kids don't want to talk to them.
If you publicly like say, I know I'm right, this is like how time travel works, and you embarrass yourself and like are, you know, whatever, then I could see Kurisu or Chris being more
Christina?
Yeah. There's no Tina.
There's no Tina. So I like where you're going with that. It could be that her father had such kind of lofty, big ideas that people weren't ready to hear or think about or understand. And she only wants to present theories and ideas that she can totally feel like she can back up with her science.
Yeah. Exactly. Or based in reality. You know?
And she might feel like theories are just words.
Yeah.
You know, that whole idea. And that maybe her father had these big lofty theories, and she wants to stick more with like what she can back up with what ideas and theories have already been created.
Yeah.
And not kind of create any of her own. Not stand out too much.
Yeah.
Be smart and be a scientist, but not reinvent or think of crazy new things that no one else has like thought about. Don't stand out too much.
Yeah. My last thing is something the fuck is up with Moeka, and I don't know what it is.
Other than the use of emojis and fun additives to her text messages.
Yeah. Like, he's getting the texts in like chronological order seemingly from time. Let's both do our best. I don't have any real information. How about you, Moeka? Here it's, what, 2:47. Earlier it was 12:32. I like her character is going to get more attention at some point.
I think
just don't know how.
Well, now he has the computer, so I feel like next episode, wouldn't that possibly lean into the idea that Moeka comes in next episode because now we have the PC?
True. Could happen.
Unless he, for some reason, wants to keep it a secret.
I wouldn't
Moeka.
tell a stranger on the street about it.
He's giving John Titor his address.
Yeah. Or no, I thought John Titor gave him
his address.
Maybe.
Someone gave someone their address, and I thought that was a silly move.
Shared.
You don't tell someone where you live, especially if you're inventing time travel.
Yeah. Sorry if I'm bothering you. Are you mad? Sorry if I'm bothering you. I really need the IBM 5100 information right now. You're the only one I can ask. 1443, right? Mm-hmm. And then 47. Like, oh, God. I'm going crazy again. It's happening.
It's happening.
All right, that's all I have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time. It's also shooting himself in the foot. It's also shooting himself in the foot. It's also shooting himself in the foot.
It's also shooting himself in the foot.